The other game that fits the description of what we're talking about is Kansas State playing Oklahoma State. Now, I don't think Kansas State should be ranked as high as they are right now. They're currently 9th. This is a 9-on-22 matchup. I believe it is at Kansas State off the top of my head. This is another snoozer game for me. I still keep saying that Oklahoma State is overrated. I think that their halftime adjustments won them the game against Texas, and it was kind of purely circumstantial. I don't have a lot of faith in Spencer Sanders still, and I know that I am inherently probably the biggest Oklahoma State hater out there I could possibly be, but I lean them in this matchup. I am very, very disappointed in the way that Kansas State finished their game against TCU, blowing a lead in the fashion that they did. It's hard for me to buy in and not lean Oklahoma State, who has at least finished games that they need to finish.
Okay, so you're upset with Oklahoma State's ranking at 9 or Kansas State's ranking at 22?
Oklahoma State's ranking at 9.
Okay.
I think Kansas State's properly rated, but I'm saying that Oklahoma State is likely the victor.
Well, last week you were taking a big old dump on Kansas State for whatever reason.
They're overrated.
They can't both be overrated.
Yes, they can.
They must both be appropriately rated because Kansas State's favored by 1.5.
That's ridiculous. They shouldn't be.
Look, this is what I'm seeing.
I freaking said this, and this is my problem with Kansas State. I love Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn's really talented. Kansas State also is a really nice pass rush that has been getting after guys this year, and they're statistically one of the best defensive lines in the country in terms of team sacks and teams tackles for loss. However, they're not an explosive team, and to me, they don't really scare me. Oh, sorry, that was Oklahoma State staff. It's 24th in team sacks, 24th in team tackles for loss. They don't produce a lot of explosive plays through the air, and Adrian Martinez sucks. He's so overrated, and he showed that to me against TCU. I don't have any redeeming qualities for Adrian Martinez, and I don't. He's not the guy that's going to get you back into a football game, and he showed that against TCU.
Colin, could you clip Joe saying he doesn't have any redeeming qualities?
Why?
Because you don't. It's a funny drop.
You're saying I
You
don't
said
have any
I don't have any redeeming qualities. ... For.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be Adrian Martinez doesn't have any redeeming qualities. That's how it would have been.
Okay, thanks, Colin. What your thoughts on this game?
Rankings. Just from that perspective, Kansas State feels like they could play spoiler. It doesn't feel like a trap. They could just be straight up spoiler, just because they're kind of a magical team. And they're going to go to the playoff like Cincinnati did last year, but because they just have a well-coached team that moves the ball and plays very hard. And at this point in the season, when so many teams are tapped out and punched out, if you have a team that can play hard and run around and be physical like Kansas State can, then you could trap or spoil Oklahoma State's season. Oklahoma State also, they lost me some money last week. I'm not going to lie to you.
They did?
Well, they lost me a pick because I was 0 for 6 in my picks.
Did you? You took them to cover?
I had Texas covering.
Oh.
And Oklahoma State decided, nope, not going to happen, fat boy. I said, all right, thanks. Folks.
Oh, God.
Awesome. Look, Oklahoma State's cool. Kansas State's cool. I don't have much investment in this game. Obviously, you have you hold resentment towards both of these teams. I don't know why. You have some type of Big 12 bias that is odd to me.
I'm all TCU, man. I actually was looking at purchasing some TCU merch because I want the Hypnotoad shirt. I want one of those. Those are great. What? You're a hack.
It's great, but you're just a hack.
Okay.
I'm just calling you a hack.
Okay. Is that so? Which way do you lean in this game?
Oklahoma State.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas State played Magic Man, I'm just going to ride the fence. That's what I do best.
So I agree again. I think we're on the same page on this pick. I think there's a possibility. I don't like the odds of the chances that it's like minuscule chances that Kansas State plays, as you said, Magic Man. But if you look at Oklahoma State,
how are you going to say it's minuscule?
I don't think it's very high because
go screw.
I look at last week as really good evidence. Really good evidence. Oklahoma State.
Martinez went down last game. He didn't play the whole game.
Let me finish.
They were Magic Man versus Oklahoma. They were Magic Man versus Texas Tech.
Okay.
Stop it.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
I look at last week against TCU as a really good example. There are some similarities between Oklahoma State and TCU in the fact that they statistically are some of the most explosive passing offenses in the country. Oklahoma State is ranked 37th in yards per completion with 13 yards per completion, which is a pretty big number. So what helped TCU get back into that game, separate from the injury that you just mentioned, was the fact that they've got Quentin Johnston. They've got athletes all over that offense that they could pick up quick scores, which we talked about in the preview. We perfectly hit on that. If TCU goes down, they could get back into the game quickly. And this is the same trap that they're going to fall into. If Kansas State goes up, I don't have faith that they're going to maintain that lead because Oklahoma State is capable of getting quick scores and getting back into the game if they need to. Not as much as TCU, but they're capable of doing it.